and with TRICARE. And if you'd like to know more, please call Charlie Cole, who's on the stage with us today. As you know, Charlie just retired as a highly decorated Lieutenant Colonel. He's part of our team now, and he'll look forward to talking to you further. Thank you for inviting me. I look forward to being on the concert stage with you tomorrow.
All right, thanks. Let's open it up for questions. And then we have Big Mike over there. Hey, Big Mike, he's making a roll of short barbecue for us. And then we're going to have band go up, and they're going to go up pretty quickly after Mike starts serving and after we finish asking the great questions. And I see anybody with a question? Have you learned everything? Yes.
Well, I have a lot of questions, but I won't ask one. I'll call all of you guys next week. The oxygen, you know, you speak to that. How does that work? I have a brother who is a veteran who suffered this couple decades. How does the oxygen work versus
Saying the question out loud, and I don't have a lot of notes, sorry about that, is that how does the hyperbaric chamber work on PTSD soldiers? How does that work?
I'll tell you, so Dr. Javit, who will be here tomorrow, loves to talk about this and has been following it very closely. So definitely,
This is the question probably he will wish he was here to answer, so I hope tomorrow, that you would have a chance to ask him. But I'll tell you what I know, which is that what they studied, in particular, I think in the IDF, where they have very high rates of PTSD in part because a lot of their soldiers are reservists. They're not their soldiers post-combat. And what they have shown is that inflammatory markers, which we use hyperbaric oxygen to treat wounds, right? In general, it's well established that it treats wounds, difficult to treat wounds, and this pressured oxygen helps with that. PTSD, they have shown similar elevated markers for inflammation. So Dr. Javit, who as you can see is just a visionary in this area, keeps really trying to push and help forward the thinking, which is that when people have PTSD, this is inflammation. This is not behavioral health. This is a medical problem, and we know this. We know this from brain stimulation. We know this when sometimes the pharmacology does work, right? It is a chemical adjustment that needs to be made. So the hyperbaric oxygen has been shown. There are very, very few, and Dr. Javit will tell you no studies. I don't know that it's zero studies, but very few studies that have shown efficacy in treating PTSD with pharmacology, with medications. It's really hard to get the studies done, and they have not been very satisfying. And I believe the only study that has been incredibly robust was a sham-controlled trial in hyperbaric oxygen for PTSD. And so they are definitely doing it all over Israel. I'm not really sure, and there are centers here in the United States doing it. It is considered off-label. The data is still being collected and driven, and I think driving it forward. But it is an incredibly compelling part of the scientific story here, which is that if medical markers, biomarkers, which is the future of medicine in so many specialty areas, if that is helping to determine individually what patients need, then let's use that. Let's harness that information and use it and get people better.
In trauma and cardiac arrest and really in the ER in general. I mean, we're really good at treating everything from here down. You think about all the injuries, one of the protocols, every protocol for a cardiac arrest or some sort of chest pain, whatever. It's the acronym's MONA: morphine, oxygen, nitro, and aspirin. Right? Oxygen's in everything. Trauma patients, it's in our protocols. Put oxygen in them because it makes oxygen readily available, and it makes it so that it's ready for the cells. It's not. And I asked the question is, okay, why would the high pressure environment push the oxygen, readily available oxygen, any farther? Because the gas exchange is going to be the same in the alveoli between oxygen and CO2. So how the pressure would impact that? Why couldn't we do that with a CPAP? So like in some of the protocols that I'm drawing up with Hope Therapeutics is having oxygen available and administered during our treatments. And if we don't have the HVAC, which is that pressurized, but kind of the same theory. Because when you have a lack of oxygen, it goes from aerobic to anaerobic metabolism. You're not producing enough. But if you work out, you're not producing enough energy. But if you work out a lot, and what happens when you work out a lot, you go from aerobic to anaerobic. Lactic acid builds up. You get inflammation. You get swelling. The theory is the same things are going on in your brain. So. Yeah, and TBIs too with injuries. I think that's the next way forward for treating these PTSD, TBIs is oxygen therapy.
I only get 1 minute. First of all, I just want to say thank you for your service. I think that's the most important thing to start with here. As a young kid, first of all, as a entertainer, kind of give you a little bit of my story. At a very young age, I admired the military. Looked up to every military man and woman. That was before I even met the group, and I was a Backstreet Boy. Still to this day, I have a lot of family members who were veterans as well. Uncle was also in the Air Force. Both of his kids, my father at one point served, grandfather, Korean War. So there's a lot of connections there. But I think the most important part was that why did I look up to you guys? And I think it was the strength that you guys carried. And I think that was my admiration. And I always felt like that's something that I kind of wanted to be like. I always said to myself, oh, well, if I wasn't, I think even before I met the Backstreet Boys, I said I wanted to be in the military.